Hi, I'm Lindsay Walltower. I love life and exciting challenges. I help people build their wealth, protect their assets, but more importantly, build a legacy for them and their family. And I can do the very same thing for you. Your Wealth Today with Lindsay Walltower. Welcome to Your Wealth Today. I'm Lindsay Walltower, your host, and we welcome you to another exciting show this week. We're glad you can join us. This week on Your Wealth Today, we have Mr. Earl Harvey, founder of the Black Professional News. And you'll learn how important the black media is and branding, as well as other critical elements to building wealth in the Philadelphia community and much, much more. We are on location, so you may hear the wonderful children in the background, and they're having a wonderful time. We're having a wonderful program. Mr. Earl Harvey is founder of Professional Black News, which is a dynamic education and entertainment resource for African American professionals in Philadelphia. Since 1990, the Black Professional News has provided essential business, cultural, and lifestyle information, as well as entertainment to professionals, business owners, executives, and decision makers in the Philadelphia market. We want to welcome Mr. Earl Harvey to our program.
Thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Mr. Harvey, for those who may not be aware of you and your background and the Black Professional News, could you briefly tell us about you, how you got started, your background, and why you're so passionate about what you do?
Well, thank you. I'm born and reared in Philadelphia.
Okay.
South Philly guy. I had the pleasure of being born next door to Marion Anderson.
Wow.
So as a child, I was exposed to some tremendous cultural and educational opportunities just by virtue of that relationship.
Absolutely.
So I was very aware, even as a young child, of her contribution to the African American community and the community, the world at large. She was certainly a historical figure when it comes in terms of her talent.
Yes.
But also the change that she created through her talent within the country. It was a time of great racial strife in America, and Marion Anderson chose to take a stand as far as not performing at the Lincoln Memorial. She performed at the Lincoln Memorial, but she was denied access to the doors of American Revolution to perform there, and consequently she became a civil rights figure at that time. So it's interesting to look at her career and look at the changes that were happening in America at that time. And so I've had some incredible role models, even as a young person, that has shown me that you can make a difference. One person can make a difference when it comes to trying to change society.
Yeah. And so you say you were born and raised in Philadelphia, and so with mentors and role models like a Marion Anderson, you know, that kind of ignited your interest in the arts and culture. How did you go on to like develop that into a business?
Well, actually, my father was my first real role model when it came to business development and corporate affairs.
Okay.
He was the first African American to be hired in 1965 by a Fortune 500 company in Philadelphia. He worked for the Sun Oil Company.
It's incredible.
So he broke the color barrier in terms to affirmative action. And he and a small group of other men in Philadelphia were the first African Americans that actually entered corporate America. So I was aware as well. And that was during the civil rights movement, during the 60s, time of great strife in this country. So I've had some pretty, incredible role models just from him and his immediate associates, who I became to look at like uncles, almost like uncles, And they were real pioneers when it came to corporate affairs and entrepreneurship and business development. So I was able to use them as an example.
Absolutely.
And then when I chose to go to college, I majored in communications and business administration.
Okay.
And I looked at corporate America like most of us did,
Sure.
As an avenue to success. And our generation that came after those pioneers, we were the first generation to really be able to go to college on a broad scale. I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah.
So we took advantage of those opportunities. So I was able to get a pretty broad-based education,
Yes.
which gave me the foundation to look at entrepreneurship and business development as a career choice.
Yes, yeah, that's great. And I think that's critical that you understood that early on and were able to capitalize on that. Where are some of the opportunities for entrepreneurs that you see? For example, your newspaper highlights a lot of local companies and entrepreneurs and entertainers. Is your business a vehicle for them to get broader exposure and to connect with others? So in other words, why would entrepreneurs who are looking to build their business utilize the Professional Black News?
Well, to give you a little history, I was a member of an organization called the National Alliance of Market Developers.
Okay.
And we're African Americans in advertising, marketing, public relations, and communications, corporate affairs. So that organization was actually founded by the first group of African Americans who entered corporate America.
Wow.
And a lot of them entered through sales and marketing departments. And these gentlemen were actually the pioneers or the developers of what we call the black consumer market today.
Is that right?
So during that time period, there were very limited opportunities for African Americans in corporate America. But when these gentlemen got hired in corporate America, they opened the doors
Wow.
to other African Americans and other black entrepreneurs to show corporate America that there were indeed consumers and vendors that could be suppliers to corporate America. And these gentlemen actually acted as facilitators
Wow.
to bridge that gap between corporate America
Sure.
and the black consumer market. So the earliest African Americans that accessed corporate America came in through the sales and promotions departments and the public relations departments.
Wow.
So, a lot of these were sole practitioners, and they were able to come in and actually get contracts. The first contracts that were given by corporate America to the black
Wow.
consumer market was done through the organization NAMD, which was then the National Association of Market Developers. So by
Wow.
joining that organization, which I became the national president and also was the president of the Philadelphia chapter, I saw the historical connection
Sure.
between building businesses that could grow to scale to serve corporate America. And it was through my relationship with that organization that I chose to start a newspaper, which we could use as a vehicle to reach the consumer market. Because there's a lot of information that's out there and also a lot of misinformation.
Can you talk about the misinformation? Kind of expound on that?
Well, there are artificial barriers that are put up to keep people out of business.
I see.
And those are societal. And in many instances, there's information that's put into the marketplace that small business owners, particularly minority business owners, just don't have access to. So after observing the playing field and noticing that it was uneven and realizing that access to information is power, and that our community needs to be empowered through the information that we're not getting. And I realized that I had an opportunity, because I had access to all this information, to put together a vehicle where we could disseminate the information into the community. And that's why I started the Black Professionals News, to assist NAMD in their mission
Sure.
to be responsible in the community and to raise awareness in the community and provide access to the community. So we initially started as a liaison publication between corporate America and the black consumer market. And what we were finding is that the small business owners just weren't receiving information that the general market receives on a pretty regular basis. It could be information on bidding.
Okay.
How to do a bid, how to become a certified vendor for corporate America.
I see.
The types of products and services that corporate America is looking for
Wow.
from suppliers. And all this information is actually in the marketplace. You just have to know where to find it. And the average small business owner is inundated with responsibility of just running his business from day to day.
Yes.
And when it comes to finding information that can help you grow your business, that actually becomes another job.
Absolutely.
And small business owners have limited time and limited resources, and they have grandiose ideas. So I tried to find a way to put those ideas and put that information into their hands where they could have direct access to it.
Great.
And also to provide them with access to the service providers that are in the area that can help them achieve that.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, I have a tendency to call these organizations alphabet organizations.
Alphabet.
Because they have all these acronyms that stand for who they are. And they're wonderful organizations. The National Minority Supplier Development Council. There was an organization in Philadelphia called PCDC.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's the SBA.
Yes.
And the Minority Business Development Agency. So all these alphabet letters, but they're acronyms. But these are organizations that are actually out here to serve small business clients.
Absolutely.
The problem is,
so
how
you
do you
see value
access?
in those organizations?
There's absolute value in them. The problem is the average small business owner does not have the time to access all the information that's coming out of all these organizations.
So in other words, you kind of sift through all of that data and information and you bring it to your news network in a more concise, usable format so people can get access and be able to move on that information.
Yeah, and when you talk about empowering the community and building wealth, you can work for corporate America and have a salary and retire with a gold watch if you're lucky. But those days are over now.
Yes.
So when you talk about building wealth, entrepreneurship and owning your own business is a self-determining avenue for people to go if you're looking in terms of building long-term wealth. There's no more security anymore.
No.
On any level, from the factory level to the corporate level, those days are over.
Absolutely.
So, you can work for yourself and have unlimited income potential, even though the work is much harder and it's not guaranteed. Or you could cast your fate to a corporation, and the minute they decide to terminate your position, you're right back where you started from. And unfortunately, as we all know, the minority community tends to be, the last hired and the first fired.
Unfortunate, but true.
And there are internal glass ceilings that we face as minorities in corporate America and in this new business environment. So you'd be surprised that, in this new economy that we're in, there are actually more people turning to entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
For employment purposes, because they have been displaced from their jobs. And so now they're looking at entrepreneurship or self-employment as a viable mechanism.
Absolutely.
For them not just to exist, but also to profit and benefit from in the long term. And to create opportunities for their children and a legacy that they can pass on.
Absolutely.
So there are many benefits to entrepreneurship. Despite the obstacles that you hear, there are many benefits to using that as a long-term strategy for building wealth as well.
Great. And what does wealth mean to you? What does that mean to you? What definition would you apply to wealth?
I look at wealth as having enough money to leave to our future generations.
Sure.
A lot of people confuse being rich with being wealthy, or making a lot of money with being wealthy. And they find themselves earning $100,000 a year and think that they have arrived, but they're spending $120,000 a year, which means they're living beyond their means.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, no matter what salary they're making, they find out that they're in debt.
Yes.
And they consider themselves rich. So, the real wealth in this country, if you look at the history of America,
Absolutely.
the people that we consider wealthy in this country, that 1%, they call the 1%ers. Okay, well, these people have what they call inherited wealth.
Absolutely.
These people have 3 and 4 generations that have never worked at all.
That's right.
That's wealth.
That's wealth.
Okay. And you look at how those companies, how those families were established, over 100 years ago. And you know the names, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, and the Fords. You know these names.
Absolutely.
Okay. But look at where they started. The founder of those families was an entrepreneur.
He was. They were. The patriarchs of those families.
The patriarchs started a business. And they were able to leverage their business to create the kind of wealth that they could pass on to their generations. I mean, a lot of these generations of people in these families will never work.
Right.
So that's wealth. And if you look at the movements that are happening now, particularly on the grassroots level, where they're talking about, the 1%ers, we're the 99%ers. Well, those 1% of the people in this country that own about 70% of the wealth, those people are wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in my heart of hearts, I would love to one day be able to create some kind of entity that I could pass on to my children. There was one point in my life when I wanted to say, I wanted $10 million and I'd be happy. But I'm a little older now and I've lowered my expectations. Because I know the kind of work and sacrifice that goes into trying to earn $10 million.
It's truly a sacrifice.
Chasing money for the sake of money is not necessarily what I consider being wealthy. Mm-hmm. But if I was to earn that kind of money, it would be what it would allow me to do to help my community and to help other people. So if I had $10 million, I'd probably give away 9 and live on 1 and hope that I would be able to make a difference during the course of my lifetime by helping other people instead of just trying to earn money for myself.
And I could help you structure that $9 million, by the way, if you need help with doing that.
I'd like you to show me how to do that $1 million and turn that back into 9 more after
I'm
I'm giving that $9 million away, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Have you ever heard the term short sleeve to short sleeve?
I haven't heard that term.
Generation A earns the money, the entrepreneur of the first generation of that 4 generations example that you gave. Generation 2 inherits the wealth. Generation 3 spends it. And then generation 4 has to start all over again. And that's the cycle with a lot of people who are quote unquote wealthy. If they're not educated on how to properly set things up, how to properly set up trusts and estate planning, and educate their families and those who have access to that wealth on a social, human capital, and intellectual level, because just giving people money alone, it's fuel for the fire in a lot of ways.
Well, you can look at people who won the lottery and are broke in 2 years. I mean, that's a prime example.
Yep. So if you don't have that background or information that you mentioned earlier to educate people on how wealth is created, obviously, but how is it preserved and how is it properly transferred down the line? And that's what this program is about as well.
Well, good. And this program is needed in the marketplace because there's just not enough information that's getting out to the community at large to empower them to make better decisions.
Absolutely.
So I commend you and Bounce and the networks that you're on and the people that you're serving, working with, for trying to make a difference in the community. It really means a lot.
Great. Thank you. Hi, I'm Lindsay Walltower. I love life and exciting challenges. I'm a wealth manager. I help people build their wealth, protect their assets, but more importantly, build a legacy for them and their family. And I can do the very same thing for you. I'm going to help you on the journey to financial freedom. Your Wealth Today with Lindsay Walltower. Hi, your tip of the day. Traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA. Which is better? Well, deciding on whether to open a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA is a major decision with potentially large financial consequences if not done correctly. Both forms of a IRA are great ways to save for retirement, although each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Your traditional IRA, some of the benefits are tax-deductible contributions. You can withdraw at the age of 59 and a half, but you have a mandatory buy down by the age of 70 and a half. Funds can be used to purchase a variety of investments such as stocks, bonds, certificates of deposits, etc. Available to anyone, no income restrictions. All funds can be withdrawn before 59 and a half, but you're going to encounter a 10% penalty if you do so. Now, with a Roth IRA, contributions are not tax deductible. No mandatory age distribution. All earnings and principals are 100% tax-free, and funds can be used to purchase a variety of investments as well, such as stocks, bonds, and certificates of deposit. Available for single filers making up to $95,000 or married couples making a combined income of $120,000. Principal contributions can be withdrawn at any time without penalty, subject to a minimal condition. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any more questions about your traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA, please go to yourwealth.tv for additional information. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. One other question I had, I went to your website and it's a great website.
Thank you.
How important is branding in your business?
Well, if you look at what's happening in the marketplace right now, you know, we're in this brave new world where you're able to use social media to create who you are in a virtual world.
Yes.
Their dancing baby is getting 20 million hits on YouTube.
Yes.
So you talk about branding, this is the branding environment that we're in. And if you're able to leverage that opportunity which social media creates
Sure.
and turn it into a business opportunity, there's never been a time for establishing who you are in this new media environment.
Absolutely. And your paper, as well as earlharvey.com, does an excellent job at that. I mean, it's interactive, and your brand, we know who Earl Harvey is when you go to that website. And you've done a great job with that. Can you tell us about some upcoming events that our audience may want to, you know, be made aware of in the Philadelphia market?
Sure. Well, as a publisher, I have access to a lot of the major events that are going on in the city, as well as the grassroots events too. You'd be surprised at the information that comes across my desk. I started a newspaper because I felt it would be a sin and a shame to have all this information and not have any place to put it.
Right.
So it was certainly devised to get information out to the marketplace on multiple levels. But now that we're using the internet and our website, and we're using our email database to email information out, and our newspaper, we're certainly touching people in multiple ways, which allows us to get these events out to a much larger customer base. We work with some of the largest, most prominent motivational speakers. George Fraser, the founder of FraserNet, is one of our clients, and we're working with him to build his success network in the Philadelphia marketplace. I'll be working with Mr. Stedman Graham very shortly with his family reunion in Philadelphia. They're having a business expo. Wow. That'll be August 3rd and 4th here in Philadelphia. And there are also a number of business-related opportunities that the service providers themselves put on during the course of the year.
Okay.
The Minority Supplier Development Council in Philadelphia has an annual small business expo that's usually held in Atlantic City.
Great.
And we're usually a media sponsor for them. And the African American Chamber of Commerce in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So, you know, by staying in touch with Earl Harvey and going to my website, earlharvey.com, you will not miss any of the opportunities for you to expand and grow your business in the Philadelphia marketplace.
Do you have an online registration, or you fan page? How?
Most of the information that I have on my website, you can certainly access directly. We do have links on our website for most of these events.
Okay.
People can certainly go to my homepage, www.earlharvey.com.
Okay.
We have a link on our homepage to join our mailing list.
Sure.
And once you join our mailing list, you will be emailed on a periodic basis.
Great. Of
the events that are coming up. We also email our newspaper out monthly.
Okay.
So people can get that online if they can't find the physical paper.
Sure.
But you know, we actually encourage those who are looking for opportunities to join in our network, because the information that we get is only as good as the people that we can send it out to.
Absolutely.
And the more people we can send it out to, the more of an impact that we're going to have in the community. So, you know, join our mailing list, check us out on Facebook, and find a way to get involved in helping us grow our mission, which is to empower our community with information.
Do you have plans for expanding your business beyond Philadelphia at some point?
Well, I recently moved to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Really?
We've had a summer home there for 30 years, and my mother's living down there.
Okay.
So I moved home to take care of her. And when I got down there, it became apparent that there are so many business opportunities in Atlantic City, New Jersey, that now I definitely have expanded my media company into Atlantic City. Atlantic City and Philadelphia are the two driving markets in this region. Atlantic City carries New Jersey, Philadelphia carries Pennsylvania. So for me to have a media presence in both of those cities is critical.
Yes.
Because I'm providing a conduit where the black community in Atlantic City and Southern New Jersey can interact with the black community here in Philadelphia and create a pipeline where we're exchanging information between those two cities, which are driving this region from an economic and entertainment aspect.
Yes.
And there are tremendous synergies between those two cities. You'd be surprised how many people from Southern New Jersey and Atlantic City migrated to Philadelphia during the Industrial Revolution before.
Okay.
And then after the 50s, after World War II, there was a lot of movement back and forth between those two cities. And my father was born in Atlantic City. My family's from there.
Okay.
And they ended up in Philadelphia. So we spent all of our summers there.
Yeah.
And the more time that I spend down there, especially with the casino industry being there now, there are some tremendous opportunities down there that are being underutilized. Wow. And my job now is to create this symmetry between Atlantic City and Philadelphia, and hopefully the two business communities can profit from that relationship.
Well, that's what this program is about, bringing entrepreneurs, business owners like yourself onto the program so that you can get that message out there that, you know, Atlantic City, Philadelphia, the synergy opportunities that are tremendous, and that's exciting.
It really is, and I want to thank, you know, Comcast for carrying the Bounce Network, because now we have another avenue, another outlet to get quality information in our communities.
Yes. That's
going to benefit and empower us all. So I want to thank you for the work that all of you all are doing here.
Oh, I appreciate it. I really do. And in terms of Earl Harvey, the media company, is there any opportunities for you to create other similar media products, or are you thinking along those lines?
Sure. I'm asked all the time, Mr. Harvey, you know, we're in an area that has no black media, or very little black media. Can you help us get some media started? And you'd be surprised that there's no black media outlets in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Is that right?
Yeah, they haven't had a black-owned newspaper in that town in quite a while.
So you're, you know, been chosen to for such a time as this, right?
I'm going to look at that as an opportunity. You'd be surprised, as big as Philadelphia is, there are neighborhoods in Philadelphia that do not have a community newspaper.
Is that really?
So there are opportunities everywhere for me to grow my business.
Sure.
And I'm going to be strategic about it. I want to look at the opportunity. I want to look at the resources, because you can't grow too fast too soon. Okay, so I'm going to be real strategic about it. But if I find a way to expand what I'm doing into other neighborhoods and other cities using the business model that I have, I'm absolutely going to consider doing it. And technology and the internet allows us to do that nowadays.
Absolutely. And Bounce TV as well.
Gotta love Bounce TV.
That's right. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. You brought a lot of value today to our program, Mr. Harvey. You really have. And for our audience, we love your feedback and input. So go to our website, yourwealthtoday.tv, and leave your comments. Also like us on Facebook, and as well tweet us some of your comments as well. See you next time for another exciting show, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.